A proposed $1,400 makeup payment for Social Security beneficiaries is currently being discussed, representing a significant development for millions of Americans who rely on these benefits. This payment would apply to all beneficiaries who receive any type of benefit administered by Social Security, including retirement benefits, Social Security disability insurance, survivor benefits, spousal benefits, and supplemental security income recipients. Originally introduced in 2025, the proposal has resurfaced in 2026 and continues to gain attention as concerns about the adequacy of Social Security benefits persist. The Senior Citizens League, a major advocacy group focusing on Social Security beneficiaries, is actively lobbying lawmakers to distribute this one-time payment. The organization argues that this would serve as a make-up or catch-up payment to address the significant gap between actual inflation and the cost of living adjustments provided over recent years. Their advocacy efforts represent the concerns of approximately 70 million Americans who depend on Social Security benefits as their primary or sole source of income. The rationale behind this proposal centers on the reality that prices and inflation have been substantially higher than what official reports indicate and what beneficiaries have received through annual cost of living adjustments. Social Security beneficiaries have been falling behind financially as the cost of living continues to rise, particularly in categories where fixed-income individuals spend most of their money: shelter, healthcare, food, transportation, and utilities. These are precisely the areas where the bulk of inflation has occurred over the past 5 to 6 years, creating a perfect storm of financial pressure for those least able to absorb it. The disconnect between official inflation measures and the actual expenses faced by Social Security recipients has become increasingly apparent. While the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, which is used to calculate Social Security cost of living adjustments, attempts to track inflation, it doesn't always accurately reflect the spending patterns of retirees and disabled individuals. These beneficiaries typically spend a much larger portion of their income on healthcare and housing than the general working population, and both of these categories have experienced inflation rates well above the general rate in recent years. The Senior Citizens League recognizes that beneficiaries have essentially been shortchanged over this period, and the $1,400 payment would acknowledge this discrepancy. The organization has conducted extensive research showing that Social Security benefits have lost significant purchasing power over the past 2 decades, and the recent period of elevated inflation has only exacerbated this problem. Many beneficiaries report having to make difficult choices between essential expenses like medications, food, and utilities, a situation that should be unacceptable in a wealthy nation. However, there are several considerations and potential adjustments to this proposal that could make it more effective and increase its chances of passage. First, while $1,400 represents a good starting point and would provide meaningful relief to many beneficiaries, a higher amount in the range of $2,000 to $2,500 might more adequately compensate beneficiaries and help them get back on stable financial footing. This increase of roughly $600 to $1,100 would better reflect the actual shortfall experienced over recent years and account for the compounding effect of multiple years of inadequate adjustments. For someone living on a fixed income of $1,500 or $2,000 per month, even this larger amount represents just 1 to 2 months of benefits, which puts in perspective how modest the proposal truly is relative to the cumulative losses experienced. Second, the source of funding for this payment requires careful consideration and could determine whether the proposal gains sufficient legislative support. If the money comes from the Social Security Trust Fund, it could accelerate the fund's insolvency date, which currently projects depletion in approximately 6 years. This would give lawmakers an easy argument against the proposal, claiming it would drain the trust fund faster and bring forward the day when benefits might need to be reduced across the board. Instead, paying this benefit from general federal funds would eliminate this objection and protect the long-term viability of the trust fund. This approach would treat the payment as what it truly is: compensation for a government failure to adequately adjust benefits, rather than as a regular Social Security benefit increase. Third, Targeting the payment more specifically to lower-income beneficiaries would ensure the money goes to those who need it most. Higher-income beneficiaries could either be excluded or receive a reduced amount, perhaps $1,000 to $1,500, rather than the full payment. This means testing approach would maximize the impact for those struggling most with rising costs while also reducing the overall cost of the program, potentially making it more politically palatable. While some may argue that all beneficiaries deserve the make-up payment since all experience the same inadequate cost of living adjustments, the reality is that those with higher incomes and additional resources have been better able to weather the inflation storm. The proposal acknowledges a fundamental issue that has plagued the Social Security system for years. Beneficiaries have received inadequate cost of living adjustments during a period of significant inflation. While annual adjustments have increased benefit checks somewhat, much of that increase has been offset by rising Medicare Part B premiums, which are automatically deducted from Social Security payments for most beneficiaries. In some years, the premium increase has consumed the entire cost of living adjustment, leaving beneficiaries with no net increase or even a slight decrease in their take-home benefits. The adjustments have not accurately reflected real price increases, leaving many beneficiaries in increasingly difficult financial situations where they struggle to afford basic necessities. This remains a proposal that has not yet been passed into law, and there is no guarantee that it will move forward through the legislative process. The Senior Citizens League continues to advocate for lawmakers to support and implement this make-up payment, recognizing that beneficiaries deserve compensation for the inadequate cost of living adjustments received over the past 5 to 6 years during a time of substantial price increases across essential categories of spending. The organization is working to build bipartisan support for the measure, emphasizing that supporting seniors and disabled individuals should transcend political divisions. The situation highlights the ongoing challenge of ensuring that Social Security benefits keep pace with actual living costs, particularly for those on fixed incomes who have limited ability to adjust to rising prices through additional work or other income sources. Whether this specific proposal moves forward or not, it brings necessary attention to the real financial pressures facing millions of beneficiaries and the need for more accurate and adequate adjustments to their benefits. The discussion also raises broader questions about how we measure inflation, how we support our most vulnerable citizens, and whether our social safety net programs are truly meeting their intended purpose of providing economic security and dignity in retirement or disability.